Okay, welcome back to our class. This is week 9 class. So as usual, we have 3 sessions. First session is about, we are going to review the last week of class workshop, and then it will be followed by the final exam guides. Then session 2 is, we will continue with the question that why English should remain the dominant in the global society. So now we are now taking a look at its vocabulary. So what is the strength of the English? That could be one of its lexical diversity. And also that after we are done, then we're moving into the module 3. Then you have a translation practice session. So today's topic is the strangers. So let's get started the workshop review. The last class we had a workshop. Then each student have assigned one of 3 options. One is the paraphrase, and the other is the summary translation, and third option is the sight translation. And also each team presented your friends and you made a performance. So in this regard, I thought it might be interesting if you have the chance to evaluate your students' performance. So I was thinking, what could be the criteria? So I decided to divide it into two elements. One is the translation skill, and the other is the performance skill. So I was thinking, what should be some factor to decide the quality of translation skills? I thought the speed. As I said, the speed is important as an important source of your income. For example, I used to be translating. Then at the time, if it is AP translation, I was a little bit slow compared with my friends. But when it comes to BA translation, I was usually twice faster than my friends. That means I could earn twice as much money than my friends. The speed is important. And also, when it comes, I roughly give the numbers how differently paid interpreter and translators. So I roughly gave the number 1 to 5 or 1 to 10. That means if the interpreters on 501 and 1001, the translators tend to be paid much lower. Maybe there could be several reasons, and the speed could be one of the reasons. And also equivalence. Equivalence is very important, and we've been talking about it's important that we to establish equivalence at several layers. First level is we must establish equivalence at the word level, and second in the phrase level, and third is the sentence level, and fourth level is the semantic level, meaning for meaning translation. We will continue with this. So today's lecture and lexical stuff, it is about establishing an equivalence at the word level, at the phrase level. And the next class we will be talking about how to establish equivalence at the meaning level. Then I will take I was thinking what could be the topic that we can share if you are trying to discuss how to establish the equivalence at the meaning level. Then I heard a very interesting lecture from David Crystal. As you know, David Crystal is the author of our textbook, English as a Global Language. And he spoke a very interesting lecture. Its title was King James Bible and its influence in English. But that was very insightful because I heard that, wow, this is Bible. The King James Bible was written in the early modern English period. Then how can it still be used in contemporary English? That was the start that I began to study. So I bought his book. His book was King James Bible and the English language, and read it through. But I thought it might be good if I can share it, because this is a very good chance for us to share that how a language can be expanding, how the language can play, how the language is increasing its vocabulary state. So how idiom can be developed from the source. So this is the topic for the next class. So, and also will be the next time that you will have some tasks, so that you will be translating the two texts. So, and also I'm happy with your performance, especially I found that maybe half a dozen of you showed a very good potential to be an interpreter and translator. And I was very impressed with your commitment, and I really enjoyed the workshop. But this is not the end, we just have started. So this is it. The work class review. Then I'd like to move on to final exam guides. Of course, last class I already gave it, but I thought you are still confused. You're still, so I thought it must be more clear. And the second reason is I decided to give you more option about the final exam. So let me make clear about our final exam. So the topic subject, of course, the time and place will be later notified, and the place is here. So that means you should write by depending on your memory. So you should not refer to the book. And also the topic, you have 3 options on the topic. The first, the writing option 1 is choose 5 topics and write 1 paragraph for each topic. So if you choose this option, you may summarize and paraphrase class files and PP files. That means you don't have to analyze. Just summarize or paraphrase, that's enough. So write, so there are 5 topics, then how about language? So you can write 2 or 3 paragraphs in Korean language, or maybe you can choose 2 or 3 paragraphs in English. So the point is, you can write in Korean and you can write in English. So the ratio is 2 to 3 or 3 to 2. It depends on your preference. And we have another option. Maybe some of you I don't want to just paraphrase. I want to need a little bit of depth, a little bit of analysis. Then 5 topics is too much. For these students, I give a second option. That is, you can choose 3 topics and write 2 paragraphs for each topic. So in this option, you are mostly paraphrasing or summarizing the class files and a little bit of analysis from the text or other references. You can see the difference. If you choose option 1, you don't have to study other references. You just use our class files. There are 2 kinds of class files. One is AREA, HWP file, and the other is PowerPoint. So you can use it. You don't have to study other references if you choose 5 topics. But if you choose option 2, of course you are looking at it, but a little bit of a study of other references. So in this case also, you may write 1 or 2 topics in Korean language, or 2 or 1 topic in English. Maybe some of you prefer, I'd like to write 2 topics in Korean, and I would like to write 1 topic in English. So it depends on your choice. So we have another option, 3. So in this case, you can choose only 2 topics. And instead, you should write 3 or 4 paragraphs for each topic. So it's a kind of essay. So you may be referring to class files, or while also adding your analysis from the text or other references. And also you may write 1 topic in Korean and the other topic in English. So I guess that maybe you can decide later, maybe it all depends on your personal preference. Some of you might, it might be better if you choose 5 and I don't have to study other references, but I can just practice with the class topic, class files, that would be good. But maybe some of you want, I need a little bit analysis, I want to make a depth, then you can choose option 3. So, what is the score distribution? If you choose the option 1, each topic is awarded with 8 points, and option 2, each topic is awarded 13 points, and option 3, each topic is worth 20 points. Of course, some of you might consider, well, that is too many. If you still think so, I think you still have option. Maybe you can write only option 2 and write 2 essays. Don't, even if a little bit get lower grade, that is your choice. So don't be stressful about this one. I must write 3 topics. No, that's your choice. Then let's get back to topic subject guides. For the topic 1 is, do we need more interpreters or guides? You can, the reference is we are class 35. You can find it. If you now class site in 한양인, there is 통병용 인문 3강 file. You can find it. So how can you write it? So this is a paragraph example. There should be introduction and body and concluding. So let me take an example. If we choose this file, so introduction, there should be topic sentence. This is example topic sentence. So the modern, so I'd like to ask Yewan, would you please read topic sentence? Example, Yewan.
A welfare society requires support of the fighters fighting best friends.
That could be one example. And also in the body should be supporting sentences, but they should be related with the topic sentence. Minju, would you please read it? Example? Example sentences for body? 그쵸. You can write about this one. Then how about the concluding? What is the concluding sentence? Concluding sentence has shared a similar idea with the topic sentence. But in another way, that concluding sentence is kind of a paraphrase the topic sentence. Or in the concluding sentence, you can add your suggestion, or you can express your opinion, or you can end by asking the question. In another word, in the concluding sentence, that you can use a suggestion, or your opinion, or a question. But one condition, they all should have something to do with the idea of a topic sentence. Yeah. So this is an example of a concluding sentence. So I'd like to, Kyung-Sung-Wan, would you please read it? So I'd like to make your own conclusion. So this is the story that we have talked about week 2. Do you remember? We have 3 stories in support of we need more bilinguals. So what story did we share? At the time we were talking about the Irish authors like Bernard Shaw and James Joyce. They faced a dilemma. Maybe they wanted to write in the Irish language because you're using their mother tongue language is something about the local identity. But what's the result? They decided to sacrifice their local identity and they decided to write novels in English. Why? Because that's the way they could reach the global fan. That was one example story. And also we have talked about why we need more bilinguals. We're talking about brush, cow shoes, 3 circles. Do you remember? There were 3 circles. So there were 3 circles, the inner circle countries and the outer circle countries and expanding circles. So now English, the inner circle countries is the countries who are using English as a native tongue, like English, like Britain or Canada or New Zealand or United States. What is the share of inner circle peoples in the total number of English speakers? They are shrinking. So in the next 20 years, the share of native speakers will be minority. That means the English speakers who are using English as a foreign language, like Chinese or Korean or Japanese or Brazilian, they're only the mainstream English speakers. So this is a new phase. There is a new phenomenon the English is now facing in the current world. So this could be something that you can cite as your argument in support of we need more bilinguals. And also, do you remember that if you need more translators, that which story can support your argument? we're talking about the vegetarian. 그죠? Vegetarian, written by Hangang, it has remained anonymous for the past 10 years. It was not popular. Nobody, few people know about that. Then Americans and British publishers, they have business sense. They have business sense like William Caxton. So they found, wow, this book is a kind of very strangely acute, very strong and violently beautiful. It's very brutally appealing, brutally elegant. That was their critique about the vegetarian. So they decided to publish it. And we talked about the Deborah Smith. How she translated it. What was her translation strategy? She decided to go closer to the free translation. That means she was more interested in creating the effect on the European readers. In other words, her translation, if you read the translation, it doesn't sound like a Korean novel. It sounds like American novel. So in the week 11, that we are going to take an example how she translated the original Korean text. So these are the stories you can say. So if you choose this topic, you can just choose one story. You have 3 stories about that. 3 stories in support of bilingual, another 3 stories in support of translators. So you can choose, if you just choose this topic, then you can just choose one story. Then that will make 1 paragraph enough. The topic 2 is becoming a translator. So we did it in the week 3 and 4. So you can refer to our class file, Areha, then you can find it. So do you remember what was it about? So for example, so what is the introduction? 자, 명주안, would you please read the topic sentence?
Topic sentence, does it take special talents or skill to be an interpreter?
그쵸. This could be the example topic sentence. So we're talking about the Douglas Robinson's view of becoming a translation. So what is the life? If you are a translator or interpreter, what will be their life like? So he said about, wow, translator is someone like an actor. He must be a copycat of original speaker. He must imitate the original speaker's character and their communication style. But in other sense, the interpreter or translator should be like a diplomat. Why? Because translators and interpreters cannot work alone. They need to build a network. They need to build a networking of clients. They need to build a networking of colleague interpreters, and they should a network of information sources. So it's like a diplomat. And how about translators like traveler, overseas travelers? Then if there is one thing among the interpreters, they like traveling. Why? Because they keep traveling overseas, they can be in contact with a different culture. So, and also they talking about the translator should be very good negotiator. He should be negotiating the prices with the clients. So this could be the life of interpreters. Then he asked another question. Should they take any special talent, special skills to be interpreter? Then what was his conclusion? There are 3 vital elements, 3 vital skills they need. First is they must translate fast, speed. Speed is a source of your income. The second is reliability. You must translate in a way that is reliable. So reliability is the primary concern of your clients. The client should rely on your text. So equivalence is about reliability. So in this regard, that of course there is a different demand from customers. For example, I talked about it depends on the text type. if you translate advertising lines, the customers usually wanted me to be closer to the meaning level. But if you translate with the technical report, my customers demand me to be closer to the source language. So it depends on the type of text. It depends on the scopus. What is scopus? Scopus is purpose of translation. So as a translation, you have always two choices. One is to the extreme end of accuracy, to the original text, and the other is to go to the effects on the target audiences, target language audiences. So you can choose in between. So these are the, for example, that supporting sentence. What is the supporting sentences? So these are the examples, supporting sentences. I like ask Sungtae, would you please read it? Oh, this is an example of a body. Then you can summarize the fast speed and reliability. And money, a very important factor. Then you can make your own conclusion. So topic 3, that is about topic 3 is a Hervey scale of text reliability types. So if you choose this topic, then you can refer to our week 4 class. So this is a paragraph sample that I'd like to, 우리 왕회, would you please read the introduction example, 왕회? 그쵸. So this, we are talking about text reliability. 그죠? Text reliability, there are several types. There are several types of text reliability. And Hervey put it on the scale. So what are the type of text reliability? So that is the 5 scales. So it's a literal translation, or faithful translation, or a balanced one, or adaptation, or free translation. So you can find it how different they are. If you look at the classifier, that there is you can find this explanation how they can be different. Is it here? The Hervey scale of text reliability. I think this is a good topic for you to summarize. You can just summarize and just memorize it and write without analyzing. Then the topic 4 was why English? Is it the matter of power or the number? So this is week 6 class. So I took it from the textbook, The English as a Global Language, written by David Christa. So you can refer to the PowerPoint. So this may be example, conclusion. So what is the case? Maybe you can remember what were the 2 cases that show the global language is a matter of the number. So we were talking about 2 cases. One was the Norman conquest, but without the linguistic conquest. Do you remember? The French people used to be the ruler of British people, but they ruled politically, but they couldn't achieve the linguistic conquest. French, why? Because the number was a minority. And what was the other case, do you remember? It was 1800 census that took place in the United States. So what was the ratio between the English speaker and non-English speaker? The population was only 3 million. The ratio was 10 to 1 in favor of English speakers. Maybe there could be reason. The English was adopted as the official language, mother tongue of the United States. Then, you can also mention about the power of speakers. So we're talking about, it was primarily the power of Roman legion, the military power, that made it possible the Latin to be the global common language at the time. And also talking about why English, because of colonial power of British company, British Empire, Britain began to rise as a colonial power from 16th century. Then American, the United States, replaced Britain as the major driver of English because of its economic power. So American became the world economic power in the 20th century. So that's why the US could replace the Britain as a second engine to continue to derive English as a global language. So that's the example of the matter. The global language is a matter of the power of its speakers, and also it gives an insight. There are many kinds of power it takes. For example, it could be military power, or it could be the cultural power, cultural legacy, like literature, and also it could be economic power, political power. You can think about all the different powers, but there is something else. Your conclusion, so that there is something else. My conclusion is, power, and power is a matter of power, and also it's a matter of number. So it meets together, converge, meet together. So this is example, conclusion. So the time is already passed. So this wraps up module 1 of week 9 class. After a 5-minute break, we will continue with this final exam, guys. So let's move on to topic 3, English idiom and metaphor. And in fact, this topic we will continue for this class and next class when we are speaking the King James Bible and its influence in English idiom. So this is example paragraph basics. Yujian, would you please read the introduction?
You must establish a meaning equivalence if you translate English idioms into Korean.
So personally, I have experienced that as we are experiencing more and more translation, then they tend to be moving toward the meaningful meaning translation. So personally, I felt when I first translated, I tend to be focused on word for word translation. But with experience, I spontaneously move in the other end of meaning. In other words, semantic level. Semantic means the meaning. So one of the most challenging part of AB translation, BA translation, that means to translate from English to Korean, that is idiom and metaphor. Because there is a basic cultural difference between the L1 speaker and L2 speaker. L1 speaker is a native English speaker, and L2 is who is using English as foreign language. So metaphor is very difficult. As I said last week, metaphor is something you should see, feel, listen. So you must visualize the image. So in Korean language, we tend to be a little bit abstract, so we don't use much metaphors, but English speakers, they are very rich in metaphor use. So supporting language, Yuzuyan, would you continue to read?
Example, English idioms and translate them into Korean.
So you can show some example of English idioms, then how to translate into Korean or Spanish. So conclusion, would you continue to read?
For example, these examples show the importance of translator/interpreter's role as a cross-cultural communicator.
그렇죠. So nowadays, the translators is defined in a sense as a communicator, cross-cultural communicator. That means that you should know the culture, the US culture and the British culture. If you want, you should be also culturally fluent if you want to be a good BA translator. BA means to translate from English to Korean. So I was talking about rationality of translation, BA or AB, but nowadays I found an interesting phenomenon. Because when I was translating maybe a long time ago, the AB or BA were usually done by Koreans. But nowadays there is a change. BA translation is still done the Korean translator or interpreters. The majority of BA interpreters are Koreans. However, what about the AB translation? There are many British people and L1 speakers, American people, Canadian people, they began to take it. For example, I know one of my professor colleague, then he is Canadian, but now he is now translating the Korean text into English. So I was asking, what are you translating? And he said, I'm collecting all the Jeju-do proverb and Jeju-do dialects and Jeju-do tradition, and I'm now translating into Korean. So it was amazing, because even though I'm a native Korean speaker, when I hear the Jeju-do dialect or Jeju-do proverb, I cannot understand. But he can understand it. Why? Because he have lived there for 10 years there. And he's working together with the Korean professors, and he's now translating. This is one example. Deborah Smith, she is a British student, so it has been only 10 years, less than 10 years. Since she started the Korean language, and still she could translate from Korean to English. So I would say this is a new challenge for Koreans if you want an interpreter, and the translator, now the BA translation is now moving to the L1 speakers. There is a tendency. Anyway, that's because of this one, idiom. So this is example of a BA idiom and metaphor translation. So 누가 한번 읽어볼까? 목소리 큰 사람? 누구죠? 우리 목소리 제일 큰 사람. 내가 알고 있는데 현재가 제일 큰 것 같아. Would you please read it?
A thing is cherished only as long as it is useful.
In Korean, you can say just 토사구팽. There is an old story. The 토사구팽. 그다음, would you please read?
All I could afford is blood, toil, tears, and sweat.
This is a typical example of using the metaphor. Winston Churchill. He was a charismatic leader. Then in the World War I, then he said, 제가 바칠 수 있는 것은 피와 수고와 눈물과 땀입니다. 그죠? There is a vivid metaphor. 계속해서요. 그다음.
He does everything by book.
What does it mean? He는 융통성 없는 원칙주의자예요. He just followed the rule. He's not flexible. Continue to read.
What is with your long face?
What is a long face? 왜 표정이 왜 이렇게 꿀꿀하니? 축 처진 거, 그지? You are so depressed. 그다음?
The apple doesn't fall far from the tree.
They use the metaphor of apple. That means the 피는 못 속인다. 그다음?
Beauty is in the eyes of the beholder.
제 눈의 안경. In Korean equivalent of this American idiom is 제 눈의 안경. 그다음?
Don't give up the ship.
So 미국 해군의 모토입니다. Don't give up. So they often use ship is a favorite metaphor the British use. Why? Because they are maritime power. So ship, don't miss the ship. Or we also say we are in the same ship, and they also use the log. Log is kind of things on which they used to write while traveling aboard. So blog that comes from blogosphere plus log. So there is a British metaphor that has something to do with the ship, and something with their maritime, the shipping voyage. They are maritime. They are sea voyage. And continue to read.
Ignorance is bliss.
모르는 게 아니다. So we can see there is some Korean equivalence to the American proverb. 그다음.
Over my dead body.
So 내 눈에 흙이 들어가기 전에 어림없지, 그죠? This is Korean equivalent to American proverb. 그다음,
Beggars cannot be choosers.
얻어먹는 처지에 찬밥 더른밥 가리게 생겼냐? This is Korean equivalent to the American idiom, English idiom.
Don't be such a wet blanket.
분위기 깨지마. So this is Korean equivalent to English idiom. So they can use the blanket, wet blanket, as a metaphor of people who cannot break the ice. So,
Practice what you preach.
남의 일에 참견하지 말고 너나 잘해. 자, 너나 잘해. 그죠? 자, 그다음.
I have butterflies in my stomach.
Butterflies. That means I feel nervous. So I feel nervous before doing something. I have butterflies before an exam. 그죠? Before exam 오글오글 거리잖아. 그지? So you want to go to the toilet. 그죠? 그게 they use the metaphor butterfly. Continue to read.
Practice makes it perfect.
연습만이 완벽에 이르는 길이다. So this will continue about idiom and the metaphor. And another topic 6, Bible and English idiom. This is for the next class. So this is the example, paragraph basic. You can follow. So I'd like to ask, 자, 누가? 목소리 크던데. 유주연인가? 김현재. 김민주. 목소리 큰 여학생 있었는데 유주연인가? 유주연. 크게 한번 읽어보세요.
James King Bible is often said to be a rich source of English idioms.
This is topic sentence예요. It's amazing to see that this Bible was written early modern English time, just after the Shakespeare's death, and it is still used as a contemporary word. 계속. Would you please continue to read?
Example idioms from Bible are the fly in the ointment, my brother's keeper, nothing under the sun is new, lamb to the slaughter.
So these are the expressions. So I extracted a dozen of expressions from this Bible that is still widely used in the contemporary English. So the fly in the ointment, it would start with the fly with ointment. Would you conclusion sentence?
These examples show how Bible words can be developed into larger sense.
So we can see from this case, the language is dynamic. The English kept changing. English kept extending. So English is like a living creature that continues to extend. This is because of human nature. It's the curiosity to make it funny, to make it fashionable. So I would say English is something very democratic. Even if it is grammatically wrong, many people use it, then that enters into dictionary. So this is the next topic for the next class. So please remember, if you choose this topic, you don't have to study other references, just to use our handout and you just summarize it. Just to pick up, extract some languages. The only task is you must memorize it. That's the only task. So this is English lexical diversity. This is what we are going to do now. So one of the strengths of English is diversity in vocabulary. It has all the different sources from different country and different language. So we will see the example. We are taking a mental voyage how English has adopted the different languages. So any volunteer who can read? Rosette, would you please read it?
English has adopted many other languages in its 1,500-year-long history.
This is one example. You can start this way. Actually, English with 1,500-year history. It started with the arrival of Anglo-Saxon people in the British Island. It was 580. That's why we call it English is 1,500 years. Rosa, would you please continue to read? So, that is it. Then I'm going to add, maybe I will be adding 2 more topics. One possible topic is translation strategies. What kind of translation strategy you can use? So if you want your translation to be literal, then there are 3 translation strategies you can use. But if you want to be your translation to be adaptation or free, then there is another group of translation strategies we are going to study in the week 10 or week 11. So that's it. So I'd like you to take time. So first of all, please choose option 1 or option 3, and also you can start right now. So I have another notice here. So our class is going on. So each class has each handout. Because at the end of class, please submit it. This is your score for the participation. That's all. There will be no more assignment. And there will be no more work for the workshop. Of course, we will have a workshop, but you don't have to work on it. So I will let you know how we proceed. Maybe in the final week of our class, we have a class workshop, but that will be different. You don't have to prepare, just come here. Then I will give the topic. That will be something conversational English. Then I will give 20 minutes, 20분. Then I will let you know your partner. Then you can prepare your test. Just free talking. Then each team will be invited, interpreting or concept. So I'm now thinking about some topic that anybody can speak without preparing. For example, so I know your fluency level of English is very high, I know. So you don't have to study subject or topic, you don't have to talk about economy or business or language talk, but you are talking about your own life. That is some topic then you don't have to prepare. Let's take an example. Maybe the topic is something like this. The most unforgettable moment of life. 내 일생에 있어서 있을 수 없는 순간. That could be one possible topic. And also, another topic is my mother. We can talk about your mother. We can talk about your father. My mother is an incredible person. I respect her. Sometimes it turns very difficult, but sometimes she's very sincere. So you can describe your mother. And also another topic is the most interesting person. I found my friend, she is very weird. He is a very different person, and why I think he is interesting. This could be one topic. And also another topic, the overseas travel that I liked most. So I traveled to, for example, Brazil. Wow, that was amazing experience for us. I met some people. I went there. That was amazing. This kind of topic. So you don't have to prepare. So in another word, so let me make it clear. So you don't have to struggle. You don't have to work under our workshop. That will be spontaneous and something that your lifetime. Maybe you can talk about I have a dream speech. For example, 5 years later, maybe I'll be working as an interpreter. Maybe I will be working for the company. So 5 years, visualize what you'll be doing on 5 years later. That kind of topic. So if there is a conversational English, you don't have to work, you don't have to prepare. That will be the next round of our workshop. Class workshop. So the point is, your only assignment is just the final exam. And also you still have 5 weeks ahead, 6 weeks ahead to prepare. I already know how to write it. I already know that the paragraph basis, I already know the topic. I gave you everything. But the only thing is just to get involved from now on, just to prepare from now. And there will be no more assignment. There will be no more home assignment. The only assignment is just to submit every handout each day. There are 4 students absenting. They cannot submit this handout. They will be a little bit penalty prone now. So as long as you are here, as long as you participate, our class participation, you don't have to worry about. You don't have to worry.